In this video, I'll be working with you on the homework in Chapter 6. Ideally, for many of you, it will work best to study the chapter first, and then to attempt the homework on your own after studying the chapter. But it's okay if you need me to go through it with you, and maybe you're just going to use this to check yourself. Okay, for this chapter and throughout the book, we keep pushing you to practice handwriting Greek, pronouncing Greek, to reviewing your old words and practicing the alphabet. Do not stop doing that. That's going to give you confidence in looking up and writing Greek words as you use the best word study tools. Let's practice writing these together. Agapao. Oops. Agapao, right? My brain and hand are sometimes disconnected here. Agapao means I love. Akalutheo. Akalutheo means I follow. Genao means I beget or I give birth. Kaleo is I call. Laleo, I speak. Martureo, I testify. Notice I am there intentionally dipping below the line with those letters. Those letters do dip below the line just as the gamma does up here. We haven't had many letters dip below the line. It's interesting. And then the word for walking, peripateo. Peripateo, to walk. All right. I'll say those again. Agapao, akalutheo, genao, kaleo, laleo, martureo, peripateo. Okay. So the next thing you're supposed to do in the homework is go to BibleHub.com, and I'm going to adjust my screen here so I can write on, I can type here. So we're going to go there, and let's look at the instructions. List the different translations of splachna, and is it translated bowels, inner parts, art, in 1 John 3:17. So we're going to look at a lot of different translations. Note that many of the translations are giving a functionally equivalent rendering of the entire phrase. In other words, they're not giving us word for word what it means in Greek, but they're saying the sense of it, the proper sense or interpretation of it in English. Literally, the words here, klese, ta splachna autu op autu, literally means shut his bowels toward him. Right, your guts, your innards. But the guts is used in Greek for the deepest seat of emotion. Right, it can mean literal guts, as it does in Acts 1, where Judas's guts spill out. But usually in the New Testament, it's used for the deepest seat of emotion. This passage, 1 John 3:17, is a good reminder that words only convey specific meaning in combination with other words. We only know really what a word means when we see it used in context. All right, so if we go to Bible Hub and we type in up here at the top, I imagine many of you have used this website or one similar to it, 1 John 3:17. Notice how it pulls up down here below all these different translations of 1 John 3:17. And I'm not going to do it right now, but I want you to go through and see the way that phrase is translated. To shut the bowels towards here, it has no pity on him, right? Has no pity on them. Shows no compassion. Here more literal, yet closes his heart against him. Withholds his compassion. Closing up his heart. The King James giving us the most literal so far, and shutteth up his bowels of compassion from him. Right? I'm not going to go through all those, but I would encourage you to go through them. I would encourage you to go through them and list those as you're asked to do in the homework, to just familiarize yourself with the different sort of a range of possible translations, some more formally equivalent, some more functionally equivalent. Okay, section C of the homework from chapter 6. Choose a book of the New Testament that you are currently reading, teaching, or planning to read. Just choose one. If you're like, well, I'm not sure. We'll just go with Matthew. Go with the first book of the New Testament then. Go to bestcommentaries.com and find out the top 5 recommended commentaries for that book. Do you own any of them? Why not buy one and read it along with your continued study? And as we noted in the lecture video for chapter 6, the commentaries you can you can filter them, whether they're technical, non-technical, and so on. And just giving you a little bit of a caveat here, a bit of a warning, technical commentaries are going to have quite a bit of discussion of Greek grammar that you might not be able to follow. Okay, so we go to bestcommentaries.com, and we could just go up here to the drop-down menu at the top for New Testament. Let's just go to Matthew. Okay, and here it's giving us the top 3 commentaries. It's telling us this one is semi-technical and evangelical. See the labels there. This one is technical and critical. So if you're wanting commentaries that are written from a believing perspective that do not contain skeptical questions and remarks, you're not going to want this one. Someone's watching this and say, well, why would anyone use that? Well, sometimes technical commentaries that are coming from a more skeptical or critical perspective can have helpful insights and observations, even though we would not agree with many things in them, right? So we're having discernment. We're saying, I can note that this person has helpfully noticed certain motifs or patterns in Matthew, even though I do not agree with some of their obviously don't agree with their skeptical remarks. So this one is semi-technical and evangelical. Some new and notable commentaries there. Chuck Quarles, I'm working on a project with him, a delightful brother. Some things here. Now, this is all the commentaries. Again, we could say, well, I just want evangelical. Click evangelical. I say I'm a little scared of technical. Let me go with semi-technical. Click these, and then you can say, well, here's the top 5: evangelical, technical. You could semi-technical. You could also click technical, and it could throw back in perhaps 1 or 2 that are missing now. And just as instructed in the homework, however you want to filter these, then write down the top 5. And if you really are going to study that book and you're not just practicing this, then why not order one of those commentaries? And if you've never done that before, reading a commentary along with your study, it's just like having a biblical scholar sit next to you to dialogue with you and say, well, I've spent 20 years studying this book and I'm not inerrant, but here's what I think that verse means. It's very helpful to have a dialogue partner like that with you. And think about this, a scholar who spent 20 years of his life, you can purchase his knowledge for 20 or 30 bucks. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right. Well, I just want to encourage you. If you're to this point, you've put in a lot of hours. You've stretched your brain in new ways to read Greek, to think about new things. And I just want to commend you for being a faithful steward of this opportunity. May the Lord continue to bless you and strengthen you and give you joy as you dive deep into His Word.